Hello, welcome back, Recapped Mystery here. Today, I'm going to explain an American dystopian drama film, Fahrenheit 451. Watch out and take care. The film is set in a bleak future world. Following the Second Civil War, the ministry established an absolute dictatorship in the United States. Under the dictatorship, firemen are appointed to burn every existing book so that people do not obtain knowledge that the ministry does not want them to have. The books have been supplanted with the internet, dubbed the Nine, which contains the ministry's very limited reading materials. Guy Montag, a firefighter, is introduced in the first scene. He is in his futuristic home, conversing with an eye that assists him in dressing. Montag has always been taught that reading books is a sin that leads to sadness, mental disease, and opposing viewpoints. He has never questioned the ministry's values and works hard as a fireman. Montag listens to the news about book reading and preserving maniacs known as the eels while getting dressed. By law, eels are deemed criminals simply for attempting to preserve books and the knowledge contained inside them. Montag goes to work the morning to teach the kids about the ministry's ideals. He and his mentor, Captain John Beatty, advise the kids that the only books they should read are those assigned to them by the ministry, which are the Bible, To the Lighthouse, and Moby Dick. Montag also burns 2 books as a protest while the audience cheers him on. They are warned of eels on the move at night. Beatty, Montag, and their firemen rush to the scene while singing songs about their bravery. They arrive at a residence where a couple is attempting to upload books to the internet for all to read. The firemen swiftly apprehend them and destroy their computers. Montag then drags them outside in front of the reporters and taunts them. He also burns a stack of books in front of the camera while the audience cheers him on. Montag sees flashes of his late father while burning them. He takes away the man's citizenship and declares him an eel under the law. Later, Beatty and Montag visit a club and meet Clarice McClellan. Clarice was once declared an eel and has been on a diet ever since. She asks Beatty to lift her restriction for a year in exchange for reporting other eels in town, and he agrees. He and Montag travel to the address she gives them and discover an elderly man filming a video. The man is a Civil War survivor who informs them that firefighters are intended to extinguish flames, not start them. Beatty doesn't trust him, calling it a typical eel lie. Montag, on the other hand, is struck by the old man's statements and begins to wonder if they are true. The firemen have been told that Benjamin Franklin, the founder of the fire service, has granted them the authority to burn, but the man mocks them for accepting such ridiculous lies propagated by the ministry. He is quickly apprehended, and onlookers applaud the efforts of the firefighters. Montag and Beatty go to a pub to drink before heading home. Montag describes his father as a wonderful firefighter who perished in the line of duty. Montag was raised by Beatty when his father died, and he treats him like a brother. Clarice sees an informant later that night and trades a music recorder for information. The man informs her about a house in the woods that serves as a book drop-off location. When Montag gets home, he asks the eye if there were firemen before the Civil War. Montag's vitals are fluctuating. Therefore the eye declares it a lie. It also advises him to take an obligatory prescribed medicine known as drops. Montag soon receives a phone call from Beatty, and the two travel to the house in the woods that Clarice has told them about. An elderly woman is reading a book inside the house. She ignores the fireman breaking in and continues reading. To grab her attention, they remove the book from her grasp. Suddenly, a firefighter summons everyone upstairs to a library holding hundreds of volumes. Montag is taken aback since he has never seen so many books at once. Beatty instructs him to take in the scene in front of him because he may never see anything like it again. He also hands the guy one of the books and asks him to read the first line. Montag begins to read it hesitantly but is interrupted midway. Beatty concludes by demonstrating how easily books may divert their attention. Montag's curiosity gets the best of him once Beatty leaves the room, and he covertly slips a book under his shirt. The firemen then gather all of the books downstairs and pour petrol on them. The elderly lady sits calmly the entire time, but when requested to move outdoors, she refuses. Instead, the lady goes into the midst of the stack of books, burning herself with them. He says one word before dying: ominous. Montag is horrified as the odor of burning flesh permeates the room. The rest of the world is watching the lady burn on live television alongside him. Following the uproar, Beatty is summoned by his superior, who accuses him of being careless. He claims that the word omnis has taken over the internet, so he wants the woman to say coward in the new video. Montag detects the modification in the video the next day and confronts Beatty about it. He asks Beatty what the word omnis means, and he learns that it means everything. He cites the suicide of a lady to demonstrate how reading books affects mental health. When Montag gets home at night, he turns off his eye and reads the book he had hidden. The eye corrects him in one of the lines while he is reading aloud. When Montag wonders why it didn't switch off, the eye responds that the communication is only between them. Montag doesn't feel comfortable in his own home, so he flees. He ultimately finds himself in the vicinity of Clarice's home. She initially threatens him to keep away, but after viewing the book, she agrees to speak with him. They go to Clarice's house and read the book together. She also informs him that the ministry has been illiterating people in order to dominate over them. Following the Civil War, they gradually killed people and took over civilizations in order to establish a single absolute power. She then adds that the doses Montag takes on a daily basis are designed to erase his childhood memories and make him submissive so he won't question the system. Clarice was an eel that was born to eel parents, but as she grew older, she grew bored of spending life on the run, so she disguised herself as a native and moved to the city. However, she quickly became bored and resumed smuggling books, only to be arrested. As a result, she is currently restricted. The night concludes with the two playing harmonica together. Montag is a completely different person when he gets home. He does not take the drops that day in order to see if Clarice is telling the truth. As a result, he had a flashback to when he was a child and his father used to give him books. The next day, Beatty conducts a meeting and discloses that some eels have been able to encode the information of thousands of books into DNA. The code is known as the Omnis, and the eels intend to ship it to Canada for distribution. If this occurs, the entire globe will have access to all books ever written, rendering the entire purpose of the firefighters obsolete. To find the Omnis swiftly, all of the firemen band together and collect eels hidden throughout the city in a warehouse. They beat and torment the poor men for information, but they refuse to budge. Clarice is also apprehended and taken there by the firemen. Montag stands calmly behind Beatty, observing the people being beaten. He catches one of the eels fleeing and has flashbacks from his past. This time, he witnesses some firefighter striking his father with a stack of books on the ground. Back in the present, all of the eels are kept in line and threatened, but none of them betray the location of the Omnis. Montag abruptly turns off the lights, giving the eels time to flee. The firemen rush around trying to apprehend them, but Clarice and a few other eels manage to flee. Montag discovers a small girl and her father hiding in a bathroom while pretending to hunt for them. He simply shuts the shower curtains and walks away. Beatty, however, notices him doing so and arrests the eels. Later, Beatty summons Montag to his office and accuses him of lying about seeing the criminals. Montag claims he felt compassion for the eels because of the small girl, to which Beatty responds that they frequently employ children as decoys, thus Montag should be harsher. Montag then removes his jacket and delivers it to Beatty, thereby quitting from his position. Beatty, infuriated, hurls the jacket at him, alleging that he didn't spend so much time teaching him the ministry's philosophy for him to depart so quickly. If Montag ever betrays him, he threatens to burn him to the ground. Following the exchange, Beatty appoints another officer to monitor Montag. A while later, Montag and Clarice meet up with Clarice's fellow eel friends, who ask Montag to get in the car and drive away. The eels clearly dislike him, but Clarice tells them that he is on their side. Meanwhile, Beatty is enraged after seeing a video of Montag getting into an eel's car. Montag is blindfolded and led to a secret eel lair where he meets Clarice's pals and tutors. They have all memorized one book, so even if they are discovered, the books will live on forever. Montag's devotion is put to the test when they want him to kill a captured fireman. Montag is about to stab the man when the others intervene, assuring him that he has died. He is told about a young man named Clifford after eventually being admitted into the team. He owns the Omnis, a bird whose DNA has been encoded with the books. Clifford's mother was the geneticist who developed Omnis and implanted it in the bird. Now, Canadian scientists have taken on the job of replicating the bird's DNA and injecting it into every other animal on the planet so that the knowledge contained within the books can spread. As a result, they require Montag's assistance in delivering the bird to a group of experts in Canada. Montag then meets Clifford, a prodigy who has memorized almost 1,300 books. Montag tests Clifford with a random book from his collection and is pleasantly delighted by his unusual ability. He is charged with bringing a fire department transponder since the Canadian scientists are sending out a homing signal to locate the bird. Montag goes to the fire department, unaware that Beatty is aware of his secret. He walks easily inside the building and obtains a transponder, but before he can depart, he comes across Beatty. Beatty inquires if he still wishes to resign. Montag plays along, claiming to be prepared for a raid. The two suit up and drive to the alleged raid. They come to a halt in front of Montag's house, where the media has gathered to report alarming news about him. Montag enters without questioning anyone and finds a stack of books on the floor. The firemen say the books were discovered in his home and wrongly accuse him of being an eel. Beatty requests that he burn the books on the floor, and he agrees. Just then, he recalls Beatty arresting his father for owning books. But, regrettably, he is powerless to intervene. He is taken outside and labeled as an eel. Montag suddenly obtains a gun and manages to flee. Clarice picks him up in her car and drives him to the hidden location. However, before they arrive, the firemen raid the area. They set fire to all of Clarice's books and murdered the majority of her friends and mentors. When Montag arrives, he sneaks into the burning barn and discovers Clifford's body. Fortunately, the bird is still alive and well within a cage. Beatty emerges behind him as he binds a transponder to its feet and orders him to halt. Montag stares him in the eyes and releases the bird, and furious Beatty burns Montag alive after it flies away. In the final scene, the bird joins a massive flock over Canada. The end. Please subscribe to assist the channel, turn on notification and leave a like. Thank you for taking the time to watch. See you again soon.